Real Pain is about two cousins, David and Benji, going to Poland on a trip together to tour through their family heritage and reconnect with each other after their grandmother dies. This movie is written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. This is his directorial debut, and he also stars in the movie as David, opposite Kieran Culkin as Benji. I've been excited about this movie since its announcement and first trailer. I love smaller dramatic road trip movies, so this is right up my alley. I've been interested to see what Jesse Eisenberg's first time directing would look like because he has a knack for choosing some stranger roles in recent years. I'm also a big fan of HBO's Succession and thought that Kieran was exceptional in that role. He's an actor that really embodies his roles when he's given the right material, and I think that's the case here. This is a really well-written and solidly directed movie. I think Eisenberg has a distinct vision for what he wants this movie to be, and he's able to accomplish that, while giving himself enough breathing room as an actor to surprise me. This is one of his best performances, and weirdly enough, it feels like both he and Culkin are kind of just playing versions of themselves. David is an anxious family man who struggles with confidence, and Benji is an overly confident stoner who can easily connect with people but can't get his own life together. It's not a huge stretch to see these actors in these roles, but in this case, it works to benefit the story with performances that feel very natural and comfortable. The script plays on both of their strengths as actors and reinforces the chemistry that they have with each other. The movie starts with David and Benji meeting at an airport to fly to Poland. Their grandmother was a Jewish woman who had to flee the country during World War II and never returned. They go on the trip to pay honor to her, their Jewish heritage, and to see her home from before. It becomes obvious that they were both really close childhood friends but grew apart as adults. David is moderately successful and he's started his own family. Benji still lives with his mom and is particularly broken up about their grandmother's passing. Even though Benji can't seem to get on his own 2 feet, he is very emotionally open to everyone. He quickly befriends the rest of the tourist group that they're both traveling with. He knows how to let go and have fun, but also comes across as emotionally sensitive and somewhat volatile. David is more grounded and in control of himself and his environment, but struggles to live in the moment and doesn't make friends as naturally. Eisenberg and Culkin have outstanding chemistry here. They do feel like they've been friends for a long time, when surprisingly, neither of these actors actually knew each other before this project. I mentioned it before, but there is a certain amount of comfortability that they have with each other that comes off as really endearing. These characters don't always see eye to eye, but they understand each other and very obviously care for one another. I do think Eisenberg's writing is stronger than his direction. He does do a solid job directing here. There were a handful of shots that I really liked throughout, and he understands how to give emotional moments the proper time and room for the scenes that they come up in. One choice I wasn't always on board with, but didn't really bother me, is that the entire soundtrack is composed of classical music. It works fine with the story, but I think it could have benefited from an actual score, but it's really not a huge issue, and I can see why some people would like it. Now, this movie is exploring shared pain, not only the pain of the shared experiences of the descendants of people who survived the Holocaust, but also the shared pain of losing a loved one and the shared pain of a close relationship fading with time. How both of the main characters handle this pain varies wildly. Benji wants to feel everything, but with this, he can't seem to keep a steady line. David is able to acknowledge the pain, but doesn't want to take the time to feel it, generally keeping calm, but also putting it off. The title of the movie is quite literally addressing what it's about. There are a couple scenes here I really loved throughout the movie. One is during a dinner scene where David pours out some of his frustrations about Benji to the tourist group. Eisenberg is great in this moment, only to be preceded by a phenomenal performance from Culkin just before this moment. Benji and Culkin's performance will be the main focus of what people talk about when it comes to this movie. Kieran is so good at playing characters who come across as confident or cocky, but have this intense emotionality just under the surface, this very thin facade. It's a character that you really feel for, and David's frustrations and feelings towards his cousin is used as a bit of a conduit for the audience. Benji is entertaining and lights up the room, and he's charming, but he's also embarrassing and overreacts at times. In watching this movie, I can't help but relate to certain aspects of both characters. The emotional moments of this movie did hit home for me, and I think they are really effective. I do think it's very likely that Kieran will show up and most likely win a lot of awards during awards season. He's the best part of a movie with some really good parts. It is a weird game of semantics because I do think they're going to push for him to be in the supporting actor category, even though he is pretty much a co-lead in this movie. It's the type of role that gets a lot of awards attention, and rightfully so. I do hope Eisenberg gets recognition for his script. This movie does feel personal. It feels like a movie that could have been written somewhat therapeutically for Eisenberg, so he can say some things that he wanted to say about relationships within life and about his Jewish heritage. There's a lot of weight and respect in the way that he approaches talking about the character's heritage and his own concerns. This is also a very funny movie at times. It's fun to see how Jesse and Kieran play off of each other, and there's a lot of warmth in their relationship. It's a heartwarming and heartbreaking movie at the same time, and I think it's going to be kind of an audience favorite when it comes to awards season. This is a shorter movie. It comes in right around an hour and a half. Eisenberg pretty much does exactly what he intends to do and bows out when I want to spend more time with these characters. This is a movie that I do recommend going to see. I think it's a pretty accessible and easy movie to watch. And I think that just the performances from Culkin and Eisenberg are worth the ticket. So I'm going to be rating A Real Pain a B+. Now I am interested to know if you have seen the movie already. What did you think of it? Who do you think is going to be the front runner for Best Supporting Actor this year when it comes to the Oscars? Let me know, and I'll be back with another video.